More shakeups in the aviation sector after their 18,000 crore equity and debt deal of purchasing Air India. Tata Sons now in the process of acquiring further stake in the aviation sector. Vishnu Shom joining us at this point with the latest on that. Vishnu, what are we hearing?
So what they are doing, and it's not a transaction which has been completed as yet, but it's been announced by AirAsia Berhad, which is AirAsia as we know it, which operates in Southeast Asia. The remaining 16.3% of this airline, AirAsia India, will be acquired by Tata Sons. The valuation of the deal approximately 19 million. Remember, the Tatas already had an agreement with AirAsia in the past, but now they're taking the remaining shares. Now, what is this all about? Essentially, it's a valuation game now. It's a market share game now in the Indian aviation space. Along with AirAsia India, Air India, which Tata Sons acquired, would have approximately 15% market share. That makes them far lower than Indigo, the market leader, which is approximately 57%, according to the latest DGCA, the Director General of Civil Aviation data, 56.2% to be exact. But here's where it gets interesting. Singapore Airlines has a joint venture with Vistara. In fact, it has a 49% stake with Vistara. And Tata Sons and Singapore Airlines are also looking at the possibility of integrating Vistara into Air India. So Vistara has 9.2% market share. So along with AirAsia, existing Air India and Vistara potentially in the future, you're looking at a larger Air India, which includes Air India Express, having approximately 25% market share. Still half of what Indigo is, but with new purchases and further fleet expansion, we are looking at a real effort by the Tatas at having a much bigger share of the Indian aviation space. Fairly exciting times, Ankita.
So, Vishnu, what we're seeing is a sort of consolidation in the aviation sector going ahead. And if that indeed happens, what is that going to mean for passengers?
Well, I think a couple of points. I would suggest that there's not very much new that's going to be there in terms of the passenger experience. I think it's more about corporate restructuring in the aviation space and a shakeout of the industry. Air India getting much larger. Vistara might become Air India in the future. AirAsia India is going to become Air India as well. So there's going to be one mammoth Air India, much larger than what it's been before. And they want to battle Indigo, absolutely clear, which means that smaller airlines like Go and SpiceJet really have a tough task to take on these two maverick airlines, the larger airlines, which have sort of created this space. Right. Of course, Tata Sons wealthy enough to be able to do this, emerging as a real challenger to the dominant space which Indigo presently has.
Right, exciting times indeed for the aviation sector. Vishnu, thanks so much for joining us with those latest details.